Welcome to Soltron. This is the video review of the DX Gozyuger Tegasword. Here's a size comparison with some other robots. He's about 11.5 inches tall at the top of his head. Alright, and here's a look at his box. And this box is very cheap and thin, so it got pretty mashed during shipping. It just shows all the different things you can do. So you got the base combination, and then if you want to put a few of the other Tegasword weapons on, you can sort of do that. You can get like one arm of each figure basically, so you can have kind of 5 different robots combined into this sword thing. Unfortunately, Orca doesn't really play a role in this at all, so that's too bad. But yeah, that's about it. The box is definitely just recycling. It's very fragile. Alright, so here's a 360 view of the guy, so you can see his default arms have to be clipped onto his wings on the back. And obviously my Tegasword is customized, so this is going to be a little bit different than yours. The arms on mine are really short because of the custom I did, so his arms would be a little bit more proportional. But overall, I'd say this is a pretty good design. He does get some waist height right here because of the new waist piece. He does get some foot height, even though the feet are very weird and frankly, they're kind of dumb looking. But it does increase his height, so that's cool. So he gets some foot platforms. And more importantly, he gets foot stability because Tegasword just has terrible feet. And then, of course, he gets this huge chest armor piece and shoulder armor. And then he's got like the twin blades coming out of his palms. Like these are his hands. So that's pretty cool. Overall, nice improvement, and you get a cool new head sculpt as well. Alright, and here's his head sculpt. I guess these are katakana. I'm not sure what they say. Honestly, I can't read that. The stylizing is like too difficult to read. But he's got a really excellent head sculpt under that visor. And then, yeah, overall, I really like this combination. He looks very different from the Orca shooter and the other combinations, and I think he pulls it off very nicely. Again, his arms should sit lower, but because I modified my figure, his arms are just too high up. So, yeah, that's that. I think the toes are really dumb. I don't know what the point of giving him 3 little toes right there. I'm not sure what they were going for. I like that the Orca like has a samurai version of the robot. I'm not sure what they're going for here. He's got like these 2 giant hands coming out, and I guess you can kind of see a ring right here and here. So that's kind of a weird thing. And then he does have a bunch of connection ports like here, so you can connect all the different limbs to the shoulders, which I don't think honestly is going to look that good, but at least you can connect 1, 2, 3 more arms to him just to like pad it out a little bit. And then of course that connector at the top is unblocked, so you can still get that. And then you got this chest connection, so you can still plug in a ring in his chest. Okay. I don't want to spend a lot of time on the lights and sounds. I have no idea what they're saying, and it's not that important to me. Oh, he's got a button right here on the waist, so you can activate that gimmick, which is very cool. I like the rainbow effect. It would be nice if there was multiple LEDs that kind of like spun around or something, but you just got the one right up here that lights up. And then you can hold it down. Okay. Let's go ahead and turn that off. So, I guess that you hold down the button for his powered up attack or whatever. His articulation is going to be a little bit limited for for like the default figure that's not customized. He is going to be able to move his arms forward maybe this much before running into these shoulder pads, and then like he can move his arms back, and that's about it. That's all the articulation you're going to get. Because mine is customized, his arms are actually connected on ball joints, so mine can like go out. Oh, this ball joint's really floppy, so that was a bad choice. But yeah, so that was a bad ball joint to commit to. So mine can like move around in a few directions. I haven't customized this guy yet, so this is actually just the vanilla Rio Tegasword just put onto my custom figure. Yeah, and mine has like the ability to bend his knees and whatnot, so he can also like have a running pose right now, whatever. But yeah, if you get this figure, he's only gonna be able to like move this arm forward and back, and that's all the articulation he's gonna have. But yeah, that's basically it. There's not really much else to say about this guy. He looks cool. If you get this guy, he's just gonna basically be a statue, your typical Sentai robot at this point. Yeah, I'm not sure if I want to customize him. Like, with all the taxes and duties and everything I had to pay, I had to buy this guy on eBay. He was about $166, but the shipping took less than a week, which was very impressive. But $166, that's insane. Like $120 is already pushing it. I definitely massively overpaid for this robot, and I just don't know if I'm even gonna keep it and customize it. It's just so expensive. It's kind of not worth it. But anyway, to undress this guy is very simple. You're just gonna pull this ring out. You're going to pop his arms off. They're on the standard, these kinds of joints. So they just pop right off. And then there's these hand blades. I guess you can count these as accessories. These are just tabbed into the palm right here. And then this one is, let me see. Yeah, it goes like this. And then it just basically says Rio Tega Kendo. So it just says Rio Tegasword on it. On this one is just backwards writing. But oh yeah, and I want to mention that these sword parts unfortunately are rubber, which is very annoying because they're not even sharp. It's just pointless use of rubber, very annoying. Same as the rubber that's on this blade, honestly, so I guess it's not a surprise. You're going to unpeg the side of the feet here, and then the whole thing will just collapse. So it's really interesting. It looks like this combination kind of wasn't even intended because there's no combining pieces that you really have to use. These feet pieces are just like molded to his weird stilt feet. And then finally the hard part is you do have to rip him in half, or actually you're going to unpeg the chest first. Oh, and then that top piece just came right off, disturbingly easy. So you get the standard Tegasword torso, and then you have to yank off the bottom half. That actually came off pretty easily. It wasn't that big a deal. And then that gives you like the whole chest piece. And you can see you get a little bit of extension right there. All right, and here's like the weird ball joints I designed to like adapt the ball joints on my custom into like the regular series or whatever. But you take this huge piece, and this is just going to snap here. And then to unlock this, there's a button here, which just lets it extend again. So that becomes the hilt of the sword, obviously. And then on the back side of the sword, this is also where the power button is, and the speakers over here. And then the LEDs in the middle, of course. So customizing these shoulder pads would be a huge pain because a wire runs through everything. And then anyway, you're going to take the feet section, and you're just going to straighten out this blade. You're going to open up this, and something. Oh, and this just straightens out. So there you got basically half of the blade, and then you just do the same thing, straighten it out. You're going to peg those two together to make the entire blade, and then you can peg on these little half pieces, which kind of completes the blade look. And then you just take that and you just shove it right onto the pommel, or the cross guard, I guess. And then it's got this release mechanism, so when you take it back off. So that's pretty cool. That feels pretty nice. This actually does feel very solid in hand. This does not feel cheap, except for, I would argue, the rubber pieces, but it's kind of understandable for the tip of the blade, the side of the blade, I guess, if you're hitting people with it. I guess that's fine. And then you're just going to take the arms, and they don't really contribute. to the blade. You're just going to peg them on underneath and hide them, basically. Yeah, like that. And then other arm, same thing. So we got both of the bottom. So the blade looks pretty terrible from this side, let's be honest, but this side looks pretty great, and it's actually a very sizable roleplay weapon. And then you can just take the ring and just pop that into here, and of course there'd be a lot of noise, but let's not bother with that. And yeah, it kind of looks like a vehicle, so that's kind of cool. I guess you could pretend like Tegasword can ride on it. Good luck with his weird feet. It would have been nice if there was a place you could just peg on, so you could actually pretend this thing is not just a roleplay item, but that's fine. That's just what the series is, I guess. I don't know. This thing bothers me. At least the other ones were like animals, so you could pretend that they're like mecha that just like combine with the Tegasword. This one is not an animal at all. It's clearly just a giant sword, unfortunately, which I think is just not as interesting as the animal-themed weapons of all the other weapons. It is a cool-looking sword, but it's not that cool. Alright, and let's get a comparison of the original Tegasword with the Rio Tegasword. So you can see there, the Rio Tegasword's definitely a little bit longer, especially when you count the blade. This is actually a weapon. This is more like a little dagger kind of looking glove gauntlet thing. Yeah, I don't know. There's not much else to say about this thing. It's expensive. I wouldn't recommend it, to be honest. It does look like a cool ship, and that would be cool if the Robo could ride on it or something, but I don't think it is ever going to do that. I don't know. I think the price is just prohibitive on this thing. This should be maybe $100, maybe $110 is a good price to pay for this, especially with the limited articulation. I think the combination is cool, but I think the Orca shooter combination is, or is it Orca? Well, whatever it's called. I think the Orca combination is just better. It just does more. It's more interesting. This one just has a little bit less style. It's also cool in its own right, but I don't think it warrants the price, especially without the animal theme. I just wouldn't recommend this. It's okay. It's not bad at all. It's cool. But yeah, I think the Orca should have actually been the final combination. I just don't think that this really adds anything, especially when you put the other limbs on. It doesn't really add to it. So I'm really on the fence if I'm going to customize this thing and make a super final combination. I might just sell it. I just can't decide at this point. But yeah, let me know what you think about it, and I'll see you in the next one.